Hello everyone, and today we will learn the different types of forces. These are actually forces that you will encounter if you are studying engineering mechanics, especially statics, the statics of engineering mechanics. So I am an engineer, I'm a civil engineer, so I know exactly these forces. So we will be studying the different types of forces and the sign convention. So here's a simple diagram to show you the different types of forces that you will encounter as you study engineering mechanics. So the first one, here's the unloaded one. Unloaded because there is exactly no force that is acting on the object. And this is what we call a tension force. So if that's the object, if you look at the tension meaning it elongates the object. It stretches the object. It's a tension or a tensile force. Compression, if you look at the object, here's compression. It compresses the object, or it is a compressive force. This is another type of force. It's called the bending force because it bends the object. If you look at here, the bending is like that. It bends the object. It's a bending force. And here's another one. So this is what we call the shear force. So shear means it cuts, from the word shearing, it means cutting. So it cuts the object. As you see in here, there's like a force that cuts the object. So these forces would cut the object. So they are shearing force. And this one is what we call a torsion. So these pairs of forces, they are torsion forces. Torsion meaning it twists. No, they actually twists the object. They twist the object. So it's a torsion. It's different from bending because bending simply bends it forward or backwards. But this one torsion, it twists the object. And of course, there's what we call a combined loading. When you see so many types of forces acting on the object. So there's an axial force, there's torsion, there's bending. So that is what we call the combined loading, where you see so many forces acting on the object. Now, so that there is a standard within the industry, a sign convention is necessary so we agree on what positive and what is a negative force. So we need to know exactly what is a positive force and what is a negative force. So this positive and negative would depend upon the direction of the force. So on the right, for example, here on the right, the shear up is positive. So this one, for example, it's positive. The shear or the V is positive. And look at it, it's actually identical. So if the object is cut into two, if you look in here, one of the shearing forces is upward, the other one is downward. So as you can see in here, this V force or the shear force on the right is upward. The shear force on the other side of the object is downward. They're in the opposite direction to maintain equilibrium. Now, when you sum up forces on the y, the v on the other side must be equal to the v on the other side. So they would be in the state of equilibrium. That is also what happens to n. If you look at here, so this force n, in one side it's going to the right, the other side it's going to the left, left and right or right and left. So these n are actually equal in values. So they are in the opposite direction to maintain equilibrium on the x-axis or the horizontal. And if you look at the bending m, This one rotates, clockwise. The other one rotates counterclockwise. So they bend the direction of the bending from both sides. The directions are different. So to maintain equilibrium. All right. So here are the positive and the negative forces. Here is what we call a positive axial force. So this one is a positive norm force N. So if you look at the positive axial force, it elongates the object. It pulls the object apart. So this one going to the right, this one goes to the left. It pulls the object apart. It stretches the object. So it is what we call a tensile force or a tension force. So it's positive. This is the negative axial force. Look at the end in both sides there. So it compresses. So this N compresses the object or shortens the object. So that means it's a negative axial force. This one is a positive shearing force, and this one is a negative shearing force. There's actually an explanation for that. As you see in here, the shearing force, a shear force that tends to move the left of the section upward or the right downward will be regarded as positive. So this is a positive shearing force. Why? Because the left side tends to move the side of the object upward, and the right side it tends to move the object downward. And it is opposite, of course, if you have a negative shear force. Here on the left, it moves down, and on the right, it moves up. So that's the positive shearing force and the negative shearing force. And what about the bending? Here's a positive bending. So this is a positive bending moment. Look at that. Look at the direction. The positive bending moment the moment is considered positive if it tends to cause concavity upward or sagging. So if it makes the object to sag like that, it sags, then the moment that's acting on it is a positive bending moment because it causes the object to sag. Now, when will it be a negative bending moment? It is a negative bending moment if it would cause concavity downward or hugging. As you can see in here, look at that. See, it causes the object to form like this. Now, therefore, these forces of moment or bending forces are negative bending moment or forces, because it caused the object to form like this. So it's a negative bending moment. So you can differentiate what a positive bending moment and what's negative bending moment. So what's the application of these forces? So when you are a civil engineer, the application is, of course, when you design a bridge. A bridge can have a different loads applied. So there might be loads from cars, from trucks, from lampposts, etc. And you can use this method to calculate the internal loads at a particular point of interest in the bridge. So yes, when you design structures, for example, there would be different types of loadings that would be acting on the structure. So you need this convention of signs, positive and negative, the direction of the forces in order to design the structure. So in my next video, we will look at how we could calculate the internal forces across the whole beam and display the results graphically. So right now we'll just be discussing the different types of forces, and later on we will be dealing more on how we could compute these forces that are acting on an object. All right, if you have some questions or clarifications, just leave a comment below, and please don't forget to subscribe and like the video or share the video to your friends. Thank you so much.